Ministry is the supreme body responsible for the administration of sports in Nigeria, and it is fully empowered by the Constitution. Sanusi and the NFF thought they could use FIFA to blackmail Nigeria. Disrespecting constitutional authority is taking it too far by the General Secretary. He, Sanusi, has created problems for the new NFF president by his behavior and is likely to be ejected from the NFF secretariat because he's a civil servant, just like other secretaries in the various sporting federations. That's according to the source. Another source will hinted that yesterday, Ikpemo, who is from the South Joblizo zone of the country, might be announced as the new NFF Secretary General today. Well, there's a lot here, Mari, but it stands out disrespect for the sports ministry and the office of the minister, Sunday Dare, in the build-up to the NFF election in Benin City. That is what has caught many fans. That was caught the attention, and they've been talking since.
Yeah, right. We had this conversation in the morning. Maybe it has been just a one-sided story. Everybody, we've been hearing the NFF side of the story and the ministry side of the story, and we're yet to hear from Sanusi's side of the story because there's no smoke without fire. Maybe, something might have happened, to warrant all of this talk. And then we had this conversation in the morning, right, about that, because this man would not just come out and start saying these kind of things, writing to the NFF that there's a high rate of interference, by the government in Nigerian football, which is completely wrong based on FIFA statutes, basically. But you look at the country, and that's the order of the day. From the LMC story where the LMC was deemed illegal all of a sudden by the ministry to, the sports minister a few days before the elections telling them to not go ahead with elections due to the court order by the Federal High Court and all of that. So maybe this man have had enough, basically, and decided to write to FIFA, because it's only FIFA that can come in and tell you the problem, right, actually. But I'm still thinking, right, I want things to be done, in order in this country, because, especially in football, there's been a lot of irregularities from the start, of football in this country till now. Things have not gone well, right? But I don't think a FIFA ban, right, will settle the problem. That's just my conversation.
Now, Blyden,
yeah,
he's said his own piece. The FIFA ban, but the FIFA ban can't just come and won't just come. This man has seen, being a first-hand person, understands the rule book. He has seen interference. If not, he can't just run to FIFA because he's suspecting. He has seen it happen. Now, go back to the build-up to the elections. We said in the morning, the sports ministry, led by Sunday Dare, he invited all the aspirants after a court order and told them, well, my friends, please stay off the venue of the elections. As if the aspirants, as learned as they are, don't understand the importance or the extent to which a court order could be effective, or the order it can't go to be effected. And that's gotten many thinking. Is it that the ministry didn't want the elections to hold because he took another court's decision for the elections of Friday to hold? What do you make of all of this?
Well, Bright James, first of all, is a thing peculiar to this particular ministry. Let me say that the Sunday Dare-led ministry, for me, it's peculiar to it. From basketball to other federations, we've seen similar incidents and scenarios where the minister tends to try to implant, I use the word implant, certain people in leadership, his own people in leadership positions. And it's basically the story. We saw the case and all the fights in the basketball federation, and now it's football. And there were pointers to it before the secretary came out, wrote that letter to FIFA. And even the action, the pointer to the action being taken, might just be what might send a ban to Nigeria. I don't know the procedures about who making the secretary, but the way they're going about it, demanded right to FIFA about interference. And now you want to pull him out immediately. And most likely, that's where the possibility of a ban might come from. FIFA would definitely have to step in, give some threat to Nigeria for them to stay clean. We've seen it happen with the Basketball Federation, and for me, it's totally dissatisfying. I feel just like I said in the morning, we've not had all that has to do with this particular dispute or context. Not at all.
Now, let's stay here. Stay within what Barry said.
Yeah.
Now, saying there's interference, FIFA, please step in. Will it outrightly incur FIFA ban?
Yeah, actually, yes, right. You look at the stories in the other countries. I remember I was in Mali, right, where the minister of sports in the country, crept into the selection process, the election process of the next president of that association. FIFA came in, and then it was a ban at the end of the day. There was no warning whatsoever.
No,
it was a clear ban, and the same was simple. Government interference. We've seen it in other countries.
I think the way it happens is this. It's not just other countries. It's happened in Nigeria before.
Yeah.
First give a warning. A warning of a suspension. It's only come like a suspension, a warning. If you go through and oppose what FIFA is talking about, then come on, an outright ban on you. So basically, that's the state at the moment.
FIFA are not senseless, Yeah, there's the rule book.
Yeah.
Or it's like, except is an outright dangerous tackle. Let's use football terms. And
But should we call this a dangerous tackle?
no, well, you can't see. You can't see.
It's not. It's not.
We're saying, well, there are indications. This and
They're
this.
saying this guy is too aggressive.
Yeah.
He's too
The way-
aggressive.
the way
He
he's
might
coming.
cause a dangerous
Yeah.
tackle.
Yeah.
There might be a dangerous tackle. So this guy needs to be one to just calm down a bit.
Yeah.
Slow down the tempo and the aggression. But he's not saying, FIFA, come ban us. It's a part of the body. So if Nigeria gets banned, then he also goes
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Absolutely,
it doesn't make any sense
And that's seeing
Mohamed
it as
Sanusi-
insubordination.
Yeah, because Sanusi would, it doesn't make sense that I would say, come and ban us so I can go stay home.
No.
So I'm out of work. Just come ban me.
Yeah.
Come and ban us.
And there's a ripple effect now. The ministry looks at it as an insubordination.
Yeah,
Insubordination.
yeah.
This is what the
So-
ministry wants or the
to
minister wants.
Yeah, so this is an insubordination to the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
Yeah.
And to the person,
Yeah, the minister.
which is Sunday Diary in this instance.
Yeah.
So he's seen as direct confrontation and disrespect to Sunday Diary.
Why is
Sunday
it- why
Diary
is
is
it
bigger than our
supposed
football.
Well, he's. I think since coming, like Blyden said, he's put up a larger than life, predisposition, especially to Nigeria, sports basically.
And then
the basketball situation.
This thing is this, I've listened to callers.
Yeah.
We're here in the morning, Mari, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of people saying, well, Mohamed Sanusi did this and did that. And I've been waiting.
Right? You're not going to blame them, right?
No.
It's what they're hearing.
No, it's a coloration. Now, so
Yes,
you
basically.
need to get the entirety of the
The
story.
balance of the story.
Yeah, so I think journalists are also culpable of this.
I agree.
You shouldn't spin one side of the story.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
So the thing is this.
That was the simple angle of the story.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
now
the
this
thing.
this is the thing. No one is teaching anybody what they should do in their job, but it's simple. The media, one of the things the media is here to do is to provide citizens with meaningful information. Yeah, so factual, accurate information with which through that they can make informed decisions for themselves. So you don't decide for the people. Yeah, you just give them the information and they're supposed to understand, get the information, and then when they break it down, assimilate it, have a proper understanding, they make informed decisions. But it looks like people are just spinning one side of the story and then leaving the other.
The dangers of a single story.
Yeah, well, because it doesn't really make sense.
Remember when I started, I told you that you're hearing the NFF part and the sports part. You're yet to hear Sanusi's part of the story. Because there's no smoke without fire. He wouldn't just wake up from his bed and decide to write to FIFA.
He's not insane.
Yeah, he's not insane. He's a doctor. So there's something that he's seen and he's
there
hearing.
are clear pointers towards the election.
Yes,
There probably
yes.
was interference.
Yes, he has seen it.
Yeah,
Right,
so-
he has seen it.
He's a part of that football
Yeah.
confraternity and he knows.
Yeah, he has seen it. And then, but the publications are just saying disrespect,
In fact,
insubordination, and
I
all.
believe people shouldn't let the slash hammer be on him. Why? Because it takes something to be bold enough to speak
Yeah.
against some sort of employer. abuse.
Secondly, we can relate to what he's saying.
Yeah.
We actually know that what he's saying is the truth. Because the sport ministry indulges into the affairs of these bodies and it happens. It's evident.
I always look at the law of precedence. Look at it. When something happens the first time, happens the second time. So the tendency to happen the third time is almost at 100% level.
Now, the other part, I think he might find himself in deep trouble is the civil service part.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a code of conduct when it comes to the civil service. So if, as the ministry said, you know, he's an employee of government, so you need to follow government's rules. And, you know, you can't go about divulging this kind of information or taking this kind of steps. Because, you know, it will now look like you're working against the system. And on that premise, I don't know how he would, you know, get himself out of this.
And another thing would be, because when you're talking about being a civil servant and working in terms with the government, question is, what does your office entails you to do? Was he doing the right thing pertaining to that office? That's the thing.
Maybe he was acting as NFF Secretary General, and not, but he's run foul of the civil service law
code.
So that's where there's conflict.
Yeah, and then he said it himself that he's under the NFF basically. You know, while he was talking.
Yeah.
You know that he's.
So where did you leave? Where did you leave of a job of being NFF Secretary?
As
a civil servant now.
All right, let's get talking. 090-222-3110-027 624-565. This is, you know, one part that has gotten many talking, and we just had to take the time to give it a proper background so you have a better understanding of the case here. And of course, you look at the story from an informed angle, you know, a larger angle, and not just, you know, very minute, myopic angle, as it were. All right, welcome. It's good to have you join us right here.
Right, and good afternoon.
Thank you, Dominic, for joining.
Right. I cannot hear your voice. But I want to say, let the man go and sit down. If at all he has nothing to do again. After enjoying over 8 or more years of in the NFL, why did he want to tarnish our football? I think he has nothing to say. He has no reason to write to FIFA to ban Nigeria. You know, all what they are doing, I know that it's like Mozambique, who didn't want anything good for Nigeria.
Dominic.
Let him go and sit down.
Wow.
Let him go and sit down.
No. Well, let's not do it that way. You were having a civil conversation, so you can't say let him go and sit down. Doesn't sound respectful. But beyond that, let's get it clear. Did he write to FIFA to ban Nigeria, or he wrote to FIFA saying there's an interference, government interference in our football? So let's get the facts clear. Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, Bright, Maria and Blyden. This is UK calling from you.
Thank you for joining.
No, yes, there are two sides to every story, and I mean every story. So we've heard from the NSF, they've branded it disrespectful and all of that. But then this guy is a doctor, for Christ's sake. He has served the NSF since 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So there is no smoke without fire. This guy, there's a reason why he did what he did.
Absolutely.
So I'm sure it would be unfair. It's unfair to conclude based on NFF's side of the story.
Yeah.
Just like Judas in the Bible, you know, nobody heard from Judas in the Bible why he sold Jesus. He must have heard
What an analogy.
But nobody heard from Judas. They only heard that he betrayed Jesus. But there must have been something wonderful. So that's what I'm saying. I think we should wait for an official statement and possibly an official trial of the doctor.
I'm not sure it's a criminal offense, so we won't have a trial.
Yes, it's not a criminal offense, but then there are two sides to every story, and I mean every story. Thank you very much.
And thank you very much for joining. It makes sense what you're saying. Well, I'm not even sure there will be a panel set up to investigate this matter.
Right,
I think they've taken their decision.
Yeah.
I think he knew it also at this point.
Yeah.
He's served for a time.
Yeah.
Hello,
Come on,
right,
he's
right,
lose
sorry.
nothing.
This is Dominic back. Right, I will join the position here. It's today.
Dominic.
It's the end of the program.
Dominic.
Right. There is nothing. There is nothing. I will not stand with him.
Dominic.
If he didn't want the election to be conducted or anything to be done, then he would have come out clear before the election.
Dominic, do you even understand the story? First off, do you understand the story?
Is it because whether it's not it's no more?
No. Well, Dominic.
I think they're
Dominic,
missing it. This way they're missing it.
Dominic. I think I would advise. I would personally advise. This is personal advice. Open up the papers. Yeah. And read the story. Read for understanding. Read the story to have a proper understanding of what is happening. Yeah? Let's read the story so you have a proper understanding. Leave what the headlines are saying. That's why we always advise you. Read beyond the headlines. Read to have a proper understanding. So when you join the conversation, you know we're having it from a holistic perspective and not one-sided. Yeah?
Right, James, I think there's a mix-up in the way it was, most people probably read it.
Yeah.
I think most people think that he wrote the letter, from what I'm perceiving, that he wrote the letter after the elections. Not knowing that he wrote the letter before the election.
Sadly, it's now, Blyden, and we have to go because we have a live broadcast. Wow. Yeah, so sorry. We have a live broadcast, and, it's part of the 35th anniversary of the states, and, by the age of commissionings, and the governments are very busy. So as part of that, we're joining up with the states and where His Excellency is at. We're tracking him these days. All right, so thank you very much for your understanding. We'll return and we'll talk about this in final details much later on, Brad. James, thank you, Solorex. Thank you, Mari. Thank you, Blyden. Stay right here with us and let's relay the signals and bring the very latest from His Excellency.
Information, of course, a message, a very special one on this occasion, by the gentleman whose company had the responsibility of delivering on this particular project. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, State Productivity Order of Merit Award winner.